I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with Five Nights at Freddy's. Animatronics at a pizzeria that are possessed by the spirits of dead children. They had a recent game that came out, the first AAA game actually, called Security Breach. This story, which the official title of this story is Irreplaceable, and in parentheses, Bonnie x Freddy. Don't do that in your titles, please. That's why there's tags that say what the ship is. Have the story be called Irreplaceable. But no, it's literally called Irreplaceable, parentheses, Bonnie x Freddy. So this story. It's about two animatronics who love each other. Now, before you raise your eyebrows, because I did mention that these animatronics are possessed by dead children, the author says in the author's note that they have their own personality and that when the story is taking place, these animatronics are no longer possessed by the dead children. So I guess it's not that bad that they are, Story is rated M. This review is rated M. So, if you're under the age of 16, stop watching this video. And if you choose to watch this video anyway, and if your parent happens to watch this video and starts to get up in arms that their child saw something that was inappropriate, that's not my problem and it's not my fault. Keep a better eye on your children. I'm not a babysitter. I'm a critic. I digress. So, the author of this fanfic is LoveGuru69. How charming. It is rated M. I think we all figured that. It's Hurt to Comfort Romance. It has over 3,000 words. And it was published, actually, rather recently. February 25th of this year, which currently this year is the year 2022. I don't know if it'll still be this year for you when you watch this, but we shall see. Okay, so this is a one-shot, technically. However, it has 4 chapters. And you're probably like, well, what do you mean it has 4 chapters? What I mean is that the author was too lazy to break up the story into actual chapters and just did it all as one big file, but has the chapters in the middle of the... Yes. Right. So, the first chapter is pretty much about Bonnie and Monty. And if you don't know who Bonnie and Monty are, Bonnie is one of the original animatronics. He's a purple rabbit. Monty is pretty much who replaces Bonnie in the Security Breach game. He's an alligator. So this first chapter, it involves Bonnie. He's talking to an employee about the new sound system and whatnot. And he happens to notice that Monty and Freddy are having a conversation. And that Monty is being a tad inappropriate with Freddy. He's super close to him, practically has his arm. He has his arm resting on the chair that Freddy is sitting in. But he's, obviously showing that he has a thing for Freddy. And Bonnie is getting rather jealous. Monty then decides to do something to Freddy's ear to make him squeak. And it makes Bonnie see red. And he even kind of gives Monty a glare. And Monty notices and just smiles at him all cockily. I wonder how you smile cockily. I don't know. I'm not good at being cocky. So, Freddy has to go walk off with the employee for some reason. And Bonnie decides to confront Monty. And Monty's getting all in his face, goes up to a poster of Bonnie and slowly claws at it, pretty much saying that you are replaceable. So, Bonnie is obviously a bit insecure about this after Monty walks off. So then we fast forward to chapter 2. Now these chapters are rather short, so I guess you could say maybe there's a reason why they put it all in one file. But maybe you could flush out the story more. Or just not have it be in chapters. Just have a line break or something. I mean, I digress. We'll get to the technical aspects of this story when I'm done doing the story itself. So in the second chapter, it's kind of from Freddy's point of view. And he notices that, Bonnie seems upset about something. Because Bonnie's reading a book, but he keeps reading the same page over and over and over again. So they have a little cute moment where, Bonnie asks if Freddy likes Monty in that way, and Freddy's like, no, it's going to take a lot more than that for me to be interested in him. They have like a little bit of fluffy moment, and it's all nice and innocent. And then it kind of implies that something kinky is about to happen. Now, you're probably like, well, wait a minute, they're animatronics. They can't have sex. Well, in chapter 3, they do. So, it's implied that these animatronics were designed to have animatronic privates. Yes. And they get a bit, into it with each other. And I'm a little confused about their anatomy because at first I just thought they just had wiring and that they were just built to be sensitive in that area to simulate, sexual stuff and whatnot. But when Bonnie's groin plate is removed, yes, they have groin plates, it's implied that he has a mechanical penis, but Freddy doesn't. But Freddy is also supposed to be a male. So I was a tad confused reading that, but the whole thing was just a tad confusing because they're animatronics. And they're supposed to be animatronics to perform for children. So why are you giving them private parts? I mean, maybe for them to pleasure each other and whatnot, but still, what if there's a malfunction on stage? And, the pizzeria or pizzaplex has to be shut down because Bonnie accidentally sprung a tent in the middle of a performance. You get what I mean? It's weird. So anyway, they have rather graphic sex, like to the point that they apparently can orgasm and can ejaculate oil. And you would think that would be the end of it. But then there's a fourth chapter where Vanessa, who is one of the antagonists in Security Breach, she filmed the whole thing. And because she's evil, she wants to antagonize Monty to go after Bonnie. So she sends the tape to Monty, pretending to be Bonnie, to have a little incident happen. Now, I would say that this story, from how the author ended it, because they do say that the story is complete, and how how this ends, it kind of implies that it's a prequel to Security Breach. Because in Security Breach, Glamrock Bonnie is mentioned, so it's implied that he did once exist, but he doesn't anymore, and that it's implied that he got destroyed by Monty. So this story is supposedly the sequel to that, and the story just kind of ends. Right. The story itself, I don't know. Maybe if it was fleshed out more, it might have been more enjoyable. But it was just, I don't know. I mean, some of the moments were kind of cute, but it was just, I don't know, it wasn't that good. It really wasn't. It should have been fleshed out more. The concept of it was just kind of silly. I mean, maybe I don't know. This shouldn't have been like a one-shot. Well, I mean, it technically had chapters, but it was practically a one-shot. I can't really say much about the story, just that I didn't really care much for it, and it was, I don't know. And the weird thing with the sex with the animatronics was just like, I mean, it wasn't as scarring as Lesbian Jesus and Her Heavenly Wedding, but it was still rather, definitely made me raise my eyebrows and, Right, now that we're done with the story itself, let's talk about the layout. So, the first chapter, or the first few, like maybe 10 paragraphs. When I first started reading, I thought it was going to be pretty good spelling, grammar, and layout-wise. And then the characters started talking. they pretty much had all the dialogue practically in one paragraph. Like, they didn't separate each character's dialogue. They just kind of blended it together, so that was annoying to read. And they also forgot to capitalize a couple of words, which was okay. And the grammar was okay somewhat, but not perfect. I would say chapter 2 was a tad better, because at least when Bonnie and Freddy are talking to each other, it's actually separated and actually reads like, you know, a normal story would to an extent. Chapter 3, though, chapter 3 was all over the place. Like, sometimes it would be decent with the layout, and then it would just get weird. And the author liked to randomly bold certain things, which I guess I can understand for dramatic reasons, but it was still a little bizarre. And the grammar got really bad at one point where, you know, it'd have a period and then a comma, and it was just really sloppy. It was just, yeah, it was just weird. And then the 4th chapter was just stupid. The fourth chapter is literally 3 paragraphs. Just 3 paragraphs. And it was titled Starting Trouble. It was, I don't know, it was not that good. Not that good at all. Yes, overall, the story was not that good. If you wanted it to be a multiple chapter story, actually separate it into actual chapters. Don't say it's multi-chapter and just have it be in one, you know, thing on fanfiction.net. But if you're going to do that, you need to really, really flesh it out way more. And if you don't want to flesh it out, then don't have it be in chapters, just have line breaks. That's all you have to do. I mean, I don't really write fan fiction, but Meg does. So, I don't know, it was not that good. Not that good. And even though the animatronics are supposedly not possessed by dead children anymore, it's still weird that people are writing stories shipping the animatronics together, because no matter what, and I'm very familiar with the lore of FNAF, it's just unsettling. It's like, again, because it's implied in this author's universe that Bonnie, Freddy, Chica, and Foxy, no matter how many versions of them they are, they're still that. Well, it's a little confusing. Like, I guess Toy Bonnie is not the same as regular Bonnie. But I guess they said it earlier in the chapter, like in the author's note. They were trying to say, let me scroll up and see. So they're pretty much saying that Bonnie is also Withered Bonnie, Nightmare Bonnie, and there was no Nightmare Bonnie. There wasn't a Nightmare Bonnie. There was Springtrap, and he wasn't Bonnie. Because Springtrap is supposed to be, is he supposed to be William Afton or Michael Afton? I don't know. I think he's supposed to be William Afton. Yes, he's supposed to be William Afton. So there is no Nightmare Bonnie. But still, the story is trying to imply that the animatronics have their own personality, and that when they were being possessed by the children, they would go into sleep mode, and that's why they would kill the night gods, because they were being possessed by the children. So again, the story is trying to justify, you know, having the animatronics bang each other. But, you know, the whole thing that makes me really confused is why would they be deliberately designed to have private parts? Like, to the point that they ejaculate and everything. Wouldn't that be annoying for the cleanup crew? Oh, great. They bloody fucked again, and they got their oily jizz all over the stage. We're going to be performing in 5 minutes. You guys couldn't have kept it in your pants. See what I mean? I don't know. It was just bizarre. Yes, well, thank you all for watching today's episode. Hopefully next week's fanfic will be, better. I did get another request in, so that will probably be in the next episode. So, stay tuned. If you did like this video, please be sure to leave a comment, leave a like, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. I would greatly appreciate it. I will see you all next week. Until then, cheerio.